my LinkedIn friends. Hello, everyone who is watching us on YouTube and on Spotify. Today I have Alan. Alan is a basketball guy, but Alan, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, in detail?
Yeah, happy to. Thanks for inviting me on the pod. Big fan. My name's Alan Arlt. I am a sports entrepreneur. Been in the business for 20 years. Probably most well known for being the founder of Ultimate Hoops, which is a premier adult recreational basketball league and training company that I founded in 2006, and then was acquired by Lifetime Fitness here in the States, and is now in over 30 U.S. markets in North America. And then I also started a sports consulting agency 2 years ago as well to really work with younger entrepreneurs, young businesses, and use all this experience from Ultimate Hoops to drive other businesses forward.
Okay, you've done a lot, and before the podcast, I was asking you a couple of times, how are you able to do this much? And give us an
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I get asked that quite a bit. I try to be as hyper as efficient as possible. I
Mm-hmm,
don't steer away from new productivity tools. I actually embrace
mm-hmm,
it. So I feel like I can do a lot. I'm starting to lean into a lot of AI for my personal use, but also business
mm-hmm,
use as well. So that helps. But at a macro level, I only have two great loves in my life. It's my business and it's my family. I don't
mm-hmm.
golf. I don't have guys weekends. I have a very small friend circle. Like I get my energy from my family, my wife, my daughters, my dogs, and running my business and working with other businesses. That's where I get all my energy. So it's a pretty narrow life, but I get a lot of joy and a lot of love and a lot of energy from it.
Awesome. Are you a business, how do you say it? Are you the work-life balance guy, or are you the work-life integration guy, not balance?
Yes, I'm more of the integration piece, right? I've never been a 9 to 5, turn it off. It's hard for me to
Uh-huh,
turn anything off. I have to schedule time to be really present with my family, and they think I'm
uh-huh.
crazy for doing that, but it actually helps me be able to turn off my phone and get focused. I work a lot of hours, I'm traveling more, but I'm trying to bring my family along with on some of these trips,
Mm-hmm.
or just have them kind of meld everything together. And sometimes there's some melding of at my girls' soccer games or sports, they know like before the game starts, I might be on a call, but once the whistle sounds and it's their game, the phone's off and I'm locked in. So I'm not perfect at it, but I don't beat myself up about it either. I just try to go and be a good dad and a good business leader as much as I can.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, so while we touch the fundamentals of productivity and how you were able to do it all, let's talk about the business side and let's begin with your company, Ultimate Hoops, which you started back in 2006. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I had the idea for Ultimate Hoops when I was living in New York City. I moved out to New York right after I graduated from the University of Minnesota and
Mm-hmm.
lived there for 10 years and worked in the advertising sponsorship industry for two major brands, Turner Broadcasting and Discovery Networks, leading
Mm-hmm.
their global sponsorship group. During that time, I was playing in a lot of bad recreational basketball leagues, living in New York
Mm-hmm.
City, and that inspired me to start Ultimate Hoops. And the whole premise behind it was we are going to treat average Joe basketball players like myself, like NBA superstars. So when you think about what the recreational basketball landscape was in 2006, you play your game, you go home, you don't think about it the next week. There's no stats, there's no photos, nothing. We changed that with Ultimate Hoops, where we took that 60-minute week experience and we extended it into a 7-day, 24-hour experience by offering stats, highlights, box scores, podcasts, videos, this super immersive experience that players got highly addicted to right away. We started the company here in Minneapolis, my home state. It grew very fast, and then Lifetime saw what we were doing and saw our growth and thought it would be a great acquisition target. They acquired us. I looked at what Lifetime was building, and they were building these professional, high-end quality basketball facilities or basketball courts within their large frame facilities. And I said, this is the perfect fit for both sides. So we joined their company. They acquired us in 2008, and then we've just been spending the last 15 years expanding Ultimate Hoops, like I mentioned before, into 30 North American markets as well. Became the largest national network of recreational basketball leagues and launched now national tournaments in New York City and Las Vegas every year, and dub training. So it's been a great I hate this word journey, but it has been right. And it hasn't been easy, but I never felt like I was working a day in my life because I love Lifetime. I love Ultimate Hoops, and it's just been a great ride.
This is awesome. Like talking about this huge, impact you did. Do you know how many players do you currently have in your league? Or how Ultimate Hoops, is it a league or is it what? Is it like different leagues? How does it work?
Yeah, good question. So it is an adult recreational basketball league, right? So you have to be 18
Hmm.
years or older to play in it. And there's a number of different formats that we can actually offer for a league. So we have our traditional open division, we call it, and you can sign up as a traditional. You can sign up a team, bring your own team in, play that way. You can have any type of experience that you want. It's open to everybody. But then we have variations on top of that as well. So if we have a club that has members that are mostly 35 or older or 45 and over, we can do Ultimate
Hmm.
Hoops 45 and over leagues, which is for the older generation like myself to still play Ultimate Hoops, but they don't have to guard someone who's 22 years old anymore. But the format that has really resonated has been the draft league formats. And that allows you to sign up as an individual. And then we assign 10 GMs to these teams, and they draft players onto their team as well. And a lot of the draft leagues have a salary cap component that's tied into our PPV algorithm by players. You have to manage your salary cap. Again, hitting to the whole brand ethos and vision of we want you to feel like you're in the NBA. Whether you're playing or now through the draft league, you can feel like a real NBA GM and construct teams and make trades and manage salary caps. All hits into the same thing as well. And there was some resistance in the beginning because they thought, well, I want to play with my buddies, or we've had our team win forever. But once they've gone through the process and they get drafted and then they get traded, and they just it's just
Okay.
another level of engagement. So there's a number of different formats. We don't try to push anything. We actually let the members and the clubs and the players pick the format that they want, and we just create a great experience around that.
Wow. So are you basically saying that there is a draft in amateur basketball and people are being traded between the teams like in NBA?
Absolutely. Yes. You get drafted. You may be the last player in the draft, you may be the first player in the draft. And yeah, up till week 4, you can be traded to any other team. And some of the leagues where we have, the salary cap or the cap numbers based on PPV, you have to make trades that actually fit within the cap numbers as well. So there's some science behind it and some math behind it as well, but that all lends itself to the reality or making it as real as we can to the NBA experience as well. So yeah, you
Wow.
can get traded. I've been traded before, and it broke my heart. But I said, hey, I signed up for it, and it actually was a good trade. I got traded to a team that won the championship. So my playing time went down, but we still won the championship. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Okay, and even being a founder hasn't helped you.
Oh God, no! It actually makes it worse. Like they don't give me any concessions on a basketball court. If nothing else, they're like, okay, we want to beat Allan by 40 points. So I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Uh, awesome. That's interesting part. And when you were saying about PPV, so what's PPV? Because like in NBA, I understand there is a salary cap because you have professional players, but this is all over amateur, recreational basketball. What is the currency over there?
Yeah, good question. So PPV, you could look at it as it's our proprietary algorithm that takes all the stats, pulling from the box score, and based on your shooting percentage, how many rebounds, assists, it creates a number for you at the end of each game, and then that rolls up and gives you a current salary for the season and for your career, right? So what we tried to do is we didn't want to just give a number like, you're a 28.6 rating, right? We tied money into it. So it equates to a salary cap. So if you're an average player like I am or an older player, your salary number might be $4 million, and it goes all the way up to 27 or 28 million dollars. So if you're a great player, you might have a 28 million salaries, PPV salary, right? Which is a sense of pride, right? It's great. But in draft leagues, it's hard to trade players like that. So if you want to trade a player like that, it takes up a lot of cap room. You have to package a player like me to kind of fit into the salary cap. That's why I got traded, right? I was just to make contracts work, right? But we thought that would be way more fun to make it feel like real money, like you're getting like you're really getting
Yeah.
paid 28 million, even though you're not, because it's just more fun, right? So it's basically just like Hollinger's PER that you see in the NBA, right? Same idea, same algorithm based on stats and performance, but we just gamified it by making it currency rather than just a number.
Awesome, interesting. So, and in terms of this question, right, in NBA, I also understand that, look, you have professional players, right? These are people who are playing basketball as their day-to-day job, right? But
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, recreational basketball, I was curious, let's say, right, you have a team and someone like decided that he can't attend the game or he doesn't want to play in this team or something like that. Since it's not a regular job for people, I mean, yeah, how do you work with that?
Yeah, it's a very, very small percentage that happens, right? Usually, if they don't finish a season, it's by injury because one, they know what they're signing up for with Ultimate Hoops, right? You have to pay your entry fee that covers your 8 games. You know that you're on this team unless you're in a draft league that you might get traded, right? So, very rarely do we have players just be like, I don't like this team. I don't want to play anymore. Now, in the old recreational days where you didn't have the stats and you weren't treated like an NBA player, I saw that all the time. Player would just stop showing up. But now with your stats and your career leaders, even if you're on a bad team, you're like, I can't leave. I can't leave this team. I'm like 30 points away from hitting 2,000 points in my career, or I want to get my PPV up, right? So there's other things keeping you in the league based on just your team performance and playing time and wins and losses. It's really about you and your own personal career and what you're creating your own Ultimate Hoops legacy, right? That really has come first, and then the team thing is really second. I don't know if that's great for building great team cultures, but sometimes it is very myopic and it becomes about you and your performance, and getting on a great team is just the frosting on top of that.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense because all of this awesome experience creates like I will say good pressure, right, on the people, and they basically are immersed with this experience, and it becomes like a part of their life.
Yeah, and it changes everything, right? I think I shared this story for you before we started recording the last time we talked. Is the turning point on where we do the league, when I felt the league was going to be really successful. It's very early on. We started the league before our acquisition by Lifetime, and we did our very first post game interview after a game with a microphone, and we set it up. We had a mic flag on it. We made it feel like you were on a TNT, ESPN broadcast, right? And I told my girlfriend, who's now my wife, Mary, mother of my children, love her to death. I said, tonight is the night where we're going to figure out if Ultimate Hoops is going to be a huge hit or it's just going to be another recreational basketball league. I said, I'm going to try and do a post-game interview with a player after the game. And two things are going to happen. Two things might happen. One, they're going to say, get that microphone out of my face. What are you doing? I'm in a recreational basketball league. Like, what are you trying to do right now? Let me play my game, get out of my face. Or the second thing that was going to happen is they would channel what they saw on TV and start talking like LeBron or Kobe or Luca and start pretending they're in a real NBA like post-game interview. And we did it, and the second thing happened. Like every player was just like talking like they were like an NBA player and using all the words. And I remember I was driving home that night and I just like got emotional. I'm like, this is going to work. The consumer gets it. This is not just basketball. It's escape for them. It's fantasy for them. It's them becoming that person they always wanted to become for 60 minutes a week. And now it's extended 7 days a week. And we just kept feeding that over and over again, just leaning into it. We started doing red carpet events, making them feel like celebrities, paparazzi, like all this stuff. We just added on top of it. And the players just ate it up, ate it up, ate it up. And that's why we've been so successful for almost 20 years now, is we've just had that hyper focus on the end user and not treating them like basketball players, but treating them like celebrities and NBA superstars.
Alan, this is like amazing. Like me being ex-athlete, and I've been always dreaming to play. I've been playing hockey, and I dream to play in NHL. And if someone will say to me that I could sign up for a league where I will be treated with the cameras, with the interviews, I would cry, and I would be so happy to join there.
Yeah, it's been great, and what I love to see is, I think Ultimate Hoops has inspired a lot of other recreational basketball leagues that are in North
Hmm.
America that are doing an amazing job. I look what Connor and what the Brody League are doing here in North America, and they've really
Hmm.
taken what we started with Ultimate Hoops, and they've even elevated it even more
Hmm.
with the experience. So it's good to see that we've inspired other recreational high-end brands, premium brands, embrace it and take what we started and just taking it to a whole new level. So it's been great to watch.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome idea, to be honest. My question to you is that probably, I don't know, when you were starting it, right? What I'm thinking right now in NBA, for sure they have all of this stuff, all of these interviews, all of these red carpets, because they have millions over there and there is money, right, in this league. But in terms of recreational basketball, my question to you is that when were you starting? Have you actually seen that like there is money in recreational basketball? Is there is even an opportunity, or maybe it's not being done because no one is ready to pay for it, and there is no money.
Yeah, I think you're asking what was my reason for starting Ultimate Hoops? Like, did I see the opportunity in the market?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I did no market research for Ultimate Hoops, none.
Mm-hmm.
My whole thing was I want to build a league that I want to play in. And I just
Mm-hmm.
felt in my gut, if I build a league that I want to play in, well, I did look at the numbers, right? I said there's 360 players that get to play in the NBA and feel like an NBA player. There's
Mm-hmm.
28 million players like me who would cut their pinky off to feel like an NBA player even for 1 week. I knew that. So I knew like if I could create something from a digital lens that made you feel like an NBA player, one, I would want to play in that league and I would be highly addicted to that league. So I was kind of the market research of one is like, how do I build a super sticky league that I would want to play, not only play in, but the website that I would go to for my stats would be the first thing that I would check in the morning and the last thing I would check at night. Like, how do I make it that sticky? That was my North Star, and that drove me. And I just trusted that there would be a big enough market behind that, and it turned out that I was right. So that was really my business plan: build what I love and just go 100 miles an hour.
All right. So, but right now, and when you were starting, how does the business model work? You ask players to pay, or tell me the beginning, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, it was very the registration was very to a traditional recreational basketball league, right? You pay either as a team, so you could pay $700 or $800, and that would cover up to 10 players to play on your team, or you could sign up as an individual. That might be $80 or $90, and you get your 8 games, and you would get placed on a free agent team. So we did not reinvent how you actually register or become a member of Ultimate Hoops. Like we did not want to complicate that on the front end, right? Like let's just do the same route. We're going to do the same typical recreational league season, 8 games, single elimination playoffs. We had some of the core fundamentals in there, but we did make some tweaks to the rules to make it a little bit different. So one of the big things we did was in most recreational leagues that I was looking at, they're all 20-minute halves, and then they have these 5 or 6 long half times as well. And I said, I want to cut the halftime down to 2 or 3 minutes and give 22-minute halves to give them more basketball in the beginning. And that was great because if we're a stat driven league, to have 4 extra minutes to acquire stats was super, super valuable. So to answer your question, we just took the existing registration, season length, took that like engine, and we just put that in Ultimate Hoops. But what made us different is all the other things, all the ancillary things that we built around the traditional recreational basketball league.
And you were not raising the prices to enter the league. Was it the same like normal prices like in each every recreational league?
No, we were premium. Yeah. So when you sign up for Ultimate Hoops, pre-acquisition to Lifetime is we gave you a jersey, so you would feel like a
Mm-hmm.
professional as well. So I think the typical league in Minneapolis at that time was $60 for a season for the individual player. Ultimate
Mm-hmm.
Hoops was about $100, a little bit over
Mm-hmm.
$100. And one, we had great margins too, but we also really wanted to set the expectation in the marketplace is we are a premium product. We are not going to
Mm-hmm.
compete on price. We're going to compete on experience and the value
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to bring. So, and we just carried that through our acquisition with Lifetime as well.
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime's a premium brand, so we just kept that pricing model the same. But we're going to price ourselves as a premium model, and now the value of Lifetime is you can play basketball 7 days a week, not just 1 hour a week at a rental facility, but Lifetime has all these amazing courts, amenities. You can go sit at a pool, you can go eat at Life Cafe. So again, it just tied into the type of brand that we're building with Ultimate Hoops to be a part of Lifetime.
Okay, yeah, now I fully understood you. So you were because what I was trying to understand, where is the money from to build all of this experience, and when you're positioning yourself as a premium product, you have cash going in, right, to create all of these red carpets and etc.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. So we had good margins. We didn't do a lot of the red carpet pieces
Mm-hmm,
until we were
mm-hmm,
acquired by Lifetime, right? Because um, one, we had more marketing spend as well because we were also getting membership dues as well. So you had to actually be a paid member of Lifetime and then
mm-hmm,
pay your league dues on top of that as well. So it just created more margin for us to do some of the ideas and the vision to do the red carpets and some of the other ancillary events around that to do just more of a robust marketing experience as well around the league.
mm-hmm. Okay, got you. Yeah, so we talked about your start. We talked about the business model of Ultimate Hoops, and then you got acquired by Lifetime, right?
Correct. Yep.
And how has it changed the Ultimate Hoops? How have you grew from this point, and what has changed?
Yeah. Well, immediately it just gave us scale, right? So we had started Ultimate Hoops in 2006, and then within 12 to 18 months, Lifetime called and wanted to acquire us. And at that time, I was still like, I wasn't looking to get acquired. I didn't really have an exit strategy. I was just trying to make the product better and better and better. So I wasn't actively looking to sell the company or be acquired. But the Lifetime opportunity was so unique in that what they were building was just such a perfect fit for the type of brand that we're building with Ultimate Hoops as well. And then I looked at the opportunity of like, I can go from one league here in Minneapolis, one location, to 30 markets across the US, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I love music. I use a lot of music comparisons. It was like we're this cool little indie band in Minneapolis, and now we're going to be signed by a major label that could play in all these different markets
Mm-hmm.
as well. I looked at that as a challenge, right? Like, yeah, Ultimate Hoops is
Mm-hmm.
a big hit in Minneapolis, but can it still draw an audience in New York and Phoenix and LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very appealing to me. So I think just giving us the scale, right? And then to your second point, uh, Ultimate Hoops, the brand has not been watered down at all in Lifetime, and that's really a credit to Brahma Krati, the CEO
Mm-hmm.
who acquired us. Is he really let us operate like an independent company within
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime? Right? He said, "We see what you guys are doing. There's value there. Go do your
Mm-hmm.
thing." And I credit him to really letting us build Ultimate Hoops as we saw it within Lifetime. And the reason why I was there for so long and why he's just such an amazing founder and visionary is just giving us the room to really breathe within Lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got you. We've covered a lot, your way when you were acquired, but You are already almost 20 years into the ultimate hoops, right? Into the business. What
Yes.
what is the vision? What's next? Why are you keeping doing this, or everything is automated already and there is nothing to do?
Yeah, well, there's always something to do, but in 2023, I stepped away. I'm not
Huh.
overseeing Ultimate Hoops as a full
Hmm.
time. I mean, a little bit because there's some clients that were doing some work with Ultimate Hoops and Lifetime as well. But I really stepped away now to focus on my sports consulting agency. And that's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I started, just taking pro bono calls way back in 2017, 2018, just from people
Hmm.
who want to hear my story or help get some advice on how to grow their leagues as well. And I really love that. I am an entrepreneur, product, startup, in the weeds type of mindset. So that's why I just love the consulting piece because it lets me rebuild an ultimate hoops type experience for a multiple of different companies, a multiple different sports, leveraging technology, allow me to not build something for the future using the past with ultimate hoops, right? Like I love to keep
Hmm.
evolving as well. So that has been my primary focus for the last 2 years now, and I love that even more. And it finding out there's a large market for sports consultant around technology and build because our phone doesn't stop ringing as well.
Hmm.
So that's been keeping me focused. But I still love Ultimate Hoops. There's people now at Ultimate Hoops that run the company better than I do. Donald does a great job, so they're in very good hands.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you took your passion from, building a businesses and, helping other people to different types of the businesses, right? But you probably took the patterns from your ultimate hoops and you're trying to apply it to different companies right
Exactly. Yes. Yep. Exactly. And not just recreational basketball leagues, right? It could be, I work with a number of facility partners who are building out these large 6 or 7 courts, and they're looking for us to come in and design programming around those spaces as
now.
well. It's our team working with ex college athletes who have all this knowledge and skill, but they may not have the skill set to manage a P&L or grow a personal brand. We'll work with
Hmm.
those type of athletes as well, and then leaning a lot and partnering with a lot of sports AI technology companies, as well as those starting emerging, integrating their technologies into existing businesses or sports leagues or organizations that want to get more efficient, but also drive a
Hmm.
better experience for their customers. So those are kind of the three kind of big segments that our company is focused on right now.
Yeah, interesting. And everything is connected, right? Everything like is. Okay, so we are 27 minutes in. It's we're trying to keep it short. It was really interesting. I'm really sure that everyone will excite. It will excite everyone to hear about the story of Ultimate Hoops. And to be honest, I never knew that there are recreational leagues that have so much like show around it. So for me personally, it was really interesting to talk about it. But I want to ask you a couple questions and blitz questions. Okay?
Sure.
So first, what is your favorite sport?
What is my favorite sport? I think I have to say, I guess I have to say basketball, right? But I've been really addicted to surfing. I've never surfed in my life, but the surfing culture is something that I'm just really fascinated by right now. So
Mhm.
basketball, yes, but I'm really obsessed with surfing right now, and eventually I have to get in the water and try to surf it at some point.
Okay, but you never did it.
Have not done it, no, not yet. So, but I hope to live a long time, and I hope when I'm in my 80s, I'm starting to rip and get waves and do all that stuff. So, it's a future project.
Okay, then who is your favorite player?
Favorite player, any sport or basketball specific?
Any sport.
Any sport, boy, man, that is a tough question. Uh, I would say the person that comes to mind is probably Derek Jeter, only
Mm-hmm.
because when I was living in New York, It was during the time of when the Yankees were really good in the late 90s, but also I was in New York for 9/11 as well. And seeing what the Yankees and Derek Jeter meant to that city during that time and during 9/11, uh, I couldn't come out of that experience without being a huge Yankee fan and Derek Jeter fan. So uh, I still I still say Derek Jeter just because of that experience I had living in New York.
Okay, awesome. Then the couple more. What is the favorite part of your work, of your job?
Oh, um, it's a mix, right? I think what I love the most is just talking to people and meeting new business owners and problem solving, finding what their business is, digging into it, and seeing where they can actually grow, what they're passionate about, and then just helping them, right? So that's a big part of it. But I also really love the quiet moments of getting up super early before my wife and kids and dogs get up and just sitting in my chair here with my iPad and just journaling and writing notes about either my clients or new ideas I have or just trying to be creative, right? Around the business. I think those two ends are my favorite part of the business.
Okay, yeah. And the last one. What is the advice would you give to business owners who are listening to us,
Yeah. Ooh.
especially
I'll
young
give
ones?
yeah, I think I'll give a current one, and it's probably a hot take just based on some of the things that I've been seeing lately on X is, and I'm probably undercutting myself by saying this because 95% of my business is done through Zoom, but
Mm-hmm.
I hate Zoom meetings. I hate doing
Mm-hmm.
business over Zoom. My advice to young people is take a musician rock band mentality to starting a business is rather than going on and finding a remote person in other countries, get hyper local, build a business with 4 or 5 people that are in your community, that are in your neighborhood, get in a garage and build a business face to face, analog to analog, and grind something out. Because I'm exhausted by the Zoom, but also when I get to meet face to face, person to person with a client, the outcomes and the energy and the efficiency is way more than anything that you can do on Zoom. So my advice is before you do the Zoom route and get hyper global, which I understand there's value in that, right? There's a lot more opportunity. Start hyper local and try to build a person to person, face to face small team business in your community.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Especially, after the COVID times, the world started to shift. And I completely agree with you on that. Speaking with people, that's why I'm doing this podcast, and I love it as well. So I think this is a great advice.
Yes, good, good. I may sound like an old guy boomer by going that route, but I don't care. I just love the in person. I've never been a work from home person. Even during COVID, I was in my office every day doing stuff. So I just value in office in work. I just think it's super valuable.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Alan, thank you so much. It was, great to chat with you, and I actually had a break between podcast recordings because of some health issues. But it was a great feeling to be back and to speak about interesting things. And I'm pretty sure everyone who is listening, want to wish you luck, and we want to wish your consultancy business to grow, and you could advertise yourself right now.
Yes.
Cool.
I can what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
You could advertise yourself if you want,
Oh,
so the
advertise
people
myself.
yeah, connect with you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about working with me and our team, you can go
Mm-hmm.
to either my personal site, alanarlt.com, or
Mm-hmm.
arltconsulting.com as well. I'm pretty active on X, just my name, Alan Arlt. You can follow me there. I am somewhat active on Instagram, but you're going to get probably photos of my wife and kids and dogs there. So it's more my personal side. But LinkedIn, I hate using LinkedIn. I have to say that, but I do have to be active there for business, so you can hit me there. But I love X. So shoot me a DM on X. I'd love to connect there, but any of those 3 channels work.
Right, Alan. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. You look great too. You look healthier than ever. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay.